I read a quote, right? And it said, "You don't know pain until you've begged God to help you let go. Until you've begged God to help you move on." And I've been there before. A lot of people's been there before, right? To that point where you're broken, you're hurt, you're confused, and you don't know what's up from down or what direction to go to. But we have to normalize letting go of people who aren't right for us. Letting go of people who are draining us, right? Emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically. And let me stay on the spiritual part, right? If you know that you are saved, you love God, right? And church and faith is a big part of who you are, right? And what you're looking for in a relationship. You shouldn't be dating or getting into relationships with people who's the opposite of that, right? Because a lot of people, they try to fix people, they try to mold people, they try to shape people into what they want, right? So they say they love God and they go to church and they want that person to do the same thing, right? But when that person came into their life, initially in the beginning, they weren't like that. We have to stop trying to force people to become what we want them to become in a relationship and let go of people who are draining us or who are not compatible with us emotionally, mentally, physically, right? And we have to normalize that. We have to stop fighting for things that we shouldn't be fighting for. A lot of people, I've heard stories of a lot of people fighting for love, attention, affection, right? And these are the prerequisites. I believe that these are the things that you should come into the relationship with, right? You need attention, you need affection, you need love, you need to be honest, you need to be trustworthy, right? We have to understand how to really shift and navigate through relationships to get what we really want. So when we're in the relationship, we're not trying to fix people or mold them to see what we want them to be or how they should be in the relationship, right? That's not relationship. That's not love. Love is not forcing people or begging people to act right or forcing people to be what we want them to be. And I always tell people this, right? In every interview that I ever went on, I told people you have to meet the requirements of your requirements. And what I mean by meeting the requirements of your requirements, stop asking for stuff. Stop asking for things you're not willing to give. And I feel as if a lot of people are asking for things they're not willing to give. They're asking for honesty, but they're holding back things. They're asking for affection, but they're not affectionate, right? They don't even know their love language. They don't know their partner's love language. They don't even know how they give and receive love. I believe that love and relationships are a lot one-sided these days. People are only in it for what they can get, not for what they can give. They want to be loved, but when it comes to them loving their partner, they find it hard to make that trade. Because people go into relationships broken, hurt, unhealed, trauma, triggers, a lot of things, and they're protective. You got these walls up. I want you to love me, but I'm not going to love you as much as you love me until my walls come down a little bit. But you need to love me, because if you don't, I'm going to leave. And then you get into relationship after relationship, trying to expect love from people with your guard up, but you're not giving people what they want. You have to meet the requirements of your requirements in relationships, in love. You have to meet those. You have to meet it, right? You have to, or else love will be draining. It will be, I'm not saying unpredictable, but it will be confusing, and it will be fake, and it will be false. Right? We want to love people, and we want to receive love with the purest intentions. Love and getting into a relationship, a marriage is already scary because we don't know what to expect. I want to give you my heart, but I want to trust that my heart is good in your hands. And I want you to believe me and have faith enough to know that I have your best interest when you give me your heart. And we have to learn how not to lose ourselves in these relationships, right? Not to lose ourselves trying to fight for this love from ungrateful people, trying to fight for attention, trying to fight for affection. And it is exhausting, right? One thing that I want you to, before you leave, right, or before I cut this off, I want you to understand that love shouldn't be exhausting. When you have to fight for certain things in relationships and it becomes exhausting, it becomes hard and difficult, and you start questioning your worth. You start questioning. You have to sit down with your partner and have a discussion and communicate. I'm not feeling loved in these areas. I don't feel heard in these areas. I think we need to work on each other, even if that's therapy, premarital therapy, or whatever it may be, or even having a conversation. Because what I realize is that a lot of people get into relationships, they're quiet, in a course of months and years, and then they try to fix things 2 to 3 years down the line, and before you know it, the issues has piled up so much. The pain, the hurt, the resentment has been piling up that it's hard to kind of unpack all of that. That's why when you get into these issues and these conflicts, and you don't know if this person's right for you, and you don't like, it's always good to communicate and talk about these things. And that's why communication and conversation and having these dialogues with your partner is so important. Because what conversations and communication does is it opens doors for vulnerability and for you to understand what your partner is thinking. Because at the end of the day, you're not a mind reader. You cannot read your partner's mind. So if you are having an argument and you guys are not saying anything, what happens in a human brain, our crazy brain, is that we start making up lies in our mind, thinking our partner is doing this or saying this when your partner hasn't said anything to you because you haven't communicated. So one thing that I want you to understand and walk away from is that, even though letting go is important, right? Even though, we shouldn't hold on to people who are draining us, hurting us, we need to have conversation and communicate to understand the root of these things and see if the partner is right for you. Because a lot of people, what they do is they just end the relationship. They ghost you, they end the relationship with no communication. What I want you to do is I want you to communicate and have conversation with your partner, right? And have the facts laid down to see, hey, if this is not right for us, let us go our separate ways. Find love elsewhere. But if this is right for us, let us fight for it, sustain it, maintain it, and live a happy life. All right. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video as well. Love it, share it, and also subscribe and share this video with a lot of people. Right. Let's get these subscribers up. I love you. Until next time. Peace.